Well, hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Weekly Whiskey. It is your favorite pair of talking heads, John and Jay. It's good to be here, guys. If you're drinking something awesome, go ahead and let us know down in the chat. I have a Edderdow report here that I'm pretty excited about. How are you doing, John? Good to see you, man.
I'm doing well. I like that we assume that we are everybody's favorite talking heads.
I'm going to go with that until someone tells me otherwise. And so far, the hate mail has been quiet, so I'll take it. I'll take that.
Okay, good enough for me. We could do whatever we want until somebody tells us to cut it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. So if you disagree that we are not your favorite pair of talking heads, go ahead and email that to some email that's not us, and we'll continue on our merry way. But we digress. Let's dive in real quick. We have a big week of bourbon news. On Friday, the first new single barrel sold. That turned around so quickly. I didn't actually have time to write it up into the big group email. So that went out Friday and Saturday. It sold out. But never fear if you did not get one. Big update coming probably tomorrow. I'll send it from the airport. And I will be in Kentucky all of this week and pretty much all of next week. We'll be at 10 plus distilleries, probably leaving with somewhere in the realm of like 18 to 22 barrels. So
doing
lots going
on. A lot of hard work.
I know, man. Someone's got to do it.
Yep.
My day job didn't believe that it was work. They thought it was not work, but
no, absolutely work. Hard work at that.
Yeah, some of the hardest, I would say, but lots of cool stuff coming. Really pumped about names like Bullet, Four Roses, Elijah Craig, Barrel Proof, stuff like that. So lots of great stuff happening. Super pumped. But I think that's pretty much Starlight should be hitting next week. We've got some Whistle Pig coming the week after that, as well as we've got a lot of Big River Distilling, but that's kind of all in flux. So should be hitting next week after, and the week after that. So I think that wraps up barrel news. And I'm excited. We've got a fun guest tonight, and actually a repeat guest, if I'm not mistaken.
You indeed are correct, sir. So we're going to be joined tonight by Chris Fredrickson from Traverse City Whiskey Company. We had them on maybe about this time last year when it's Cherry Fest. So I think it was in the summer actually, but
yeah, June-ish.
June. That was a hell of a time. We went through their whole lineup of stuff, and they're going to be rolling out some new stuff. Tonight will be the first time Chris talks about it, as far as I know. So it'll be nice to get the little debut of what's coming up from Traverse City Whiskey Co. So allow me to bring in Chris Fredrickson. Chris, how are you, man?
Howdy, guys. Good evening.
You doing well?
Quite well. How's everybody?
I'm doing well. Great to have you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Totally. So if I'm not mistaken, you guys have some interesting stuff coming down the pipeline. John, sorry, did I cut you off there? Do we have anything else to cover before we dive into the fun?
No, I think there's a handful of news coming out of TC Whiskey lately. Their cocktail cherries are screaming. And they, I think, have some news from the San Francisco World Spirits Comp, if you want to highlight that, Chris. I think that was, before we speak about the new stuff, we could talk about the stuff that's readily available out there.
Yeah, absolutely. We are fortunate enough to win a couple medals out of the San Francisco Spirits Competition, World Spirits Competition. Our North Coast Rye took a double gold in the straight rye category, and our Barrel Proof Rye took a gold. So it was a big year for us, and we're pretty geeked to celebrate specifically the North Coast Rye, because it is the first product that we've released that has the distilled by statement from Traverse City Whiskey on it.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was, of course, years in the making. The age statement was creeping up on right around 4 or 5 years, and we've been sitting and waiting patiently for that moment.
Definitely, man. That's awesome news that you guys are just bringing home hardware from the shows. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thanks. It was 2019 was kind of our premier year with our Barrel Proof Bourbon. Taking a double gold. Last year it took a gold, and we wanted to for the first time in 3 or 4 years try out the rye, and it seemed to do quite well.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I wanted to reach back out to the chat real quick, throw another hello, happy Tuesday, holy shit, and see what everybody's drinking. In response to that, I swear I saw Yancey said that he was drinking chicken tacos. So best of luck to you with that. Hopefully you're being safe in drinking those tacos. Let's see, we had a little Pikesville kicking around tonight. Some early times bottled and bond. Exciting stuff here. Looks like Chris just grabbed another pour of was that the rye?
Yeah, this is North Coast Rye.
Excellent.
Lovely.
We were doing a little digging for some branding images, and I almost grabbed your Whiskey of the North logo there with the antlers on it because I thought that was kick-ass, but we didn't have a good way to like tuck it into our little headliner image, so I didn't end up stealing it. But I, in looking around, was happy to find that one though. You guys did a good job with that.
Yeah, right on. Thank you.
All right, let's take a look here and dig in to what you guys are going to be releasing. We could talk release schedules. We could talk flavor proof, whatever you want to do, however you want to present it. But I would love for you to go ahead and debut some of the new stuff coming around from TC Whiskey for us.
Yeah. So before we talk about where we're going, let's talk about where we started. Back in 2015, we partnered with actually one of our distributors to launch one of our first finished whiskeys. It was our straight bourbon rested in port wine barrels. The kind of the shtick to that, and I say shtick because this is actually a kosher product, was that it was kosher. And it was exciting for us to be able to debut a product to an audience, an audience that appreciated kosher, typically out on the East Coast. It was our port finished bourbon, and it was a wonderful part of our portfolio for years. And we decided last year that it was time to retire it in the name of evolving it. So we had originally rested the bourbon in traditional port barrels, and we decided to relaunch the port as part of what we're calling the finishing series. Now, we haven't really talked much about it publicly, so this is kind of a debut of information. It is a project that has taken significantly longer than expected because of COVID. Yeah. But that time has also bought us an opportunity to actually make more product. So we were thinking smaller scale a year ago, and the finishing series has kind of blossomed into something that will, I think, be more of a mainstay in our portfolio. And we really tried to rush you guys samples, but are kind of eager to create a little hype around it. It's the first product that we've released as part of a series. It's the first product that we're going to be selling in a box. And it's the first product that has a unique identity per product, but spanned across multiple regions of the world. So we are relaunching the port barrel finish in, this bourbon is rested in ruby barrels. So there's kind of a sweeter essence of the whiskey. It's 5-year bourbon rested in the port barrels, where before it was a 3 to 4 year. So it's a more mature whiskey, and
nice.
And typically, and this is not naysaying the strategy of other shops, but sometimes distillers will actually take a whiskey that's not ready and rest it in a rum barrel in any type of wine barrel or a tequila barrel, whatever, to kind of fast track that maturation process. But our goal with the finishing series was to take a product that was already mature. I mean, our Barrel Proof bourbon right now is aged between 5 and 6 years. This bourbon is aged between 5 and 6 years, and resting it in these ruby port casks just adds that extra layer of complexity. It's fun on the palate. It's fruity, and it as I mentioned, it'll be sold in a box collection with a pretty cool mural that cascades across the products. and we're premiumizing it, but we're also selling these expressions at a more affordable price. We're not jacking up the price because it's the some novelty expression. It's a wonderful product, but at an affordable price point of between $55 and $65. It's intended to be a mainstay for us, but also you're not going to gawk at it when you see it $7.50 on the shelf. So yeah, we've got the port. We also have our I mentioned the distilled by statement on the back of the rye. We also took our 5-year aged 100% rye, which is a very, very difficult mash bill or very difficult recipe to distill. We're resting that in local Cabernet Sauvignon Franc wine barrels. And those are sourced from a winery down the street. They're good friends of ours. And we were trying to find the perfect harmony to marry that spicy, buttery rye in a cask that was very kind of near and dear to our northern Michigan heritage. And it's a wonderful treat. It was the first of these 3 spirits that we R&D'd, and it was kind of a no-brainer. It's my favorite personally.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that the same as your North Coast Rye, or is this?
Yeah. It's a predominant. It's the predominant rye in the North Coast Rye. So the North Coast Rye is a blend of 95.5 and 100% rye, but the 100% rye plays the kind of the lead role in that blend.
Okay. So when you said earlier that these are going to be coming boxed, does that mean this is like a box set, like 3 are coming together in a small format, or is each individual one packaged up?
Yeah, no, great question. Sorry, that may have been a little confusing. So they're individual boxes. There are a lot of, I guess, Scotch is notorious for coming in a single box, so the bottle lives in one box.
Yeah.
But the 3 boxes, when they sit next to each other, we had a local artist here in Detroit, Don Kilpatrick. He's known for he's an artist that's known for kind of his hand calligraphy, and yet he does wood carvings, and he's hyper talented. And so he took these elements of Traverse City whiskey, our still house, our still, our male and female, lead distillers and production employees, and just like the northern elements, woods up north, and drafted this beautiful mural. And so each box kind of has this imprint of the mural, and when they sit together, they tell a graphic story.
Cool.
And it's pretty powerful.
That sounds pretty sweet.
It also really gives you good cause to go out and buy all 3, right?
Yeah. So
you got to have them all. You got to complete the set.
You got to complete the set. And this is the first of a kind that we've done anything like this. We don't typically roll in the set game. It's more just let's have fun and release whatever comes next. And that's how you get in this whiskey game. The planning component is quite tricky because you're not thinking 2 months out. You're thinking 2 to 10 years out.
Yeah.
So
yeah. There's no turning on a dime, is there?
Right. Yep. And except when you've got years like this and materials and priorities shift around a lot. That's kind of been the impetus to to launch here. But
yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, but we've there's one more expression, and that is our high rye bourbon. So it's a 36% rye bourbon, rested in sherry casks from Spain, and they're it's a much earthier flavor. It's a bit drier, but it also again teases out being high rye. It does tease out kind of that blend, from the sherry being more earthy in character, and then the spice of the rye. it's cool, and they're all kind of funky in their own way. But what's wonderful about whiskey generally is just that variety, and I'm certain that no one expression is going to be a favorite of a group. It'll be spread across. Everybody's palate is so different, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, I
Very
mean that's the beauty of releasing, all sorts of different expressions at once as well. I mean, you sort of get the feedback instantly when people start sort of scooping up all the ones they want, collecting the whole set, and then maybe getting 3 or 4 of the ones that they like above and beyond the others.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. So you aged I think it was the rye in the ruby port.
The bourbon is rested in the port.
Oh, that's right. That was the first one you spoke of. Was the bourbon.
Yep.
So Jay and I had a St. Patrick's Day revelation with some ruby port aged redbreast that we really liked. So that's a parallel that I think will end up being pretty cool to see him come into your bourbon.
Oh,
it looks like he's just swapping around his camera setup there.
Cool. Yeah, I mean that redbreast was crazy. It was crazy good.
Yeah, it was really exciting, the layers of fruit that we got out of that. So instantly when he said that these are going to be aged in ruby port, I was kind of thinking, all right, well, this is something that already, like, I've got a mental image of that, like fruit roll-up style, tropical, like had the, your notorious peach rings, like all the things in there that we end up liking. So it was cool to see those.
Definitely.
And I think Chris is going to be joining back in here. Here we go.
There he is. Welcome back.
We're rambling on about how much we like the ruby port finish stuff, so that'll be exciting to see.
Uh-oh.
I think you got on mute there, Chris, or maybe your mic is just keyed off.
Well, yeah. So, and it's interesting too, because like ruby port is typically much fruitier, more berry forward than like the tawny ports or some of those big vintage ports, which I think usually works well with younger bourbon and rye.
Still not getting you there, sir.
Maybe we'll get them like flashcards. You can just like,
that's right.
Yes,
you have to put up a whiteboard behind you now, and you have to write all of your answers out.
Yeah, this is I mean, charades, weekly whiskey charades, I think will be the new after hours segment.
This is the new best drinking game you've never played before. Is you have to do your next 3 Zoom calls only using like Pictionary cards and drawing out your answers.
Yeah. So, I mean, well, this is kind of an interesting, we don't typically have this problem, but this is a great intermediary. I'm wondering, we'll see. Can we hear you, Chris? No, we cannot hear you. Just like give me thumbs up, thumbs down. Is this like high proof, low proof, or 46, 50, 55, 40, 42? Okay. 45? 55?
Oh, I want to start taking bets in the audience now.
Check.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, we got him.
All right, cool.
There we go.
Damn it, you ruined the game.
We can do note cards, charades.
Yeah. So tell us what proof can we expect these to come in at?
Yes. So they the proof of each expression is it cascades between 92.5 and 97.5.
Okay.
92.5, 95 even, 97.5.
I see now that double thumbs up was a yes, you got it, and not go way, 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 way higher. Okay.
Yep.
I was like 60, 65 to the moon.
Not in Michigan. Not
All
in
right.
Michigan.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. But okay. Very cool. Filtered, unfiltered. Can you say?
Unfiltered.
Beautiful.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not chill filtered, but sediment filtered.
Okay. Nope. That's
right.
That's a good kind. We'll take it.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah. I assume that you're getting all the grubby nasty out of there, but yeah,
right.
non-chill filtered is definitely a big plus.
Yep.
Very cool. And you said about $55-$60 ish. They all come the same.
Yep. Depending on the state. So we're doing it'll be a semi-national release, and depending on the state, every state's different. I hate talking price point because it it's so variable.
That's like I like the ish. I just ish it.
Yeah.
Like give me a ballpark.
How about 60-ish?
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, I live in the ish, so
That's true. He does.
it's good.
It's super fucked up, but he does.
It's hard. I mean, 50 states, 50 different price points. Yeah. I mean, it's really like south of 100 or north of 100 is where that conversation starts. But I mean, I think good stats. I mean, we know that good port, good sherry, good cab are not inexpensive wines. Those barrels are not super cheap. So I think that that's a great price point that, you know, isn't some big margin king, I'm sure. Like those are expensive products that go into making these.
Yeah.
So, Chris, what's the rollout on these going to look like?
Yeah, the rollout is starting in July. And
so coming right up.
Kick off in July and then one per month until September. So as we go into O&D, that'll kind of be the climax of the release.
Cool. So by then, everybody should have had it. Well, everybody in the markets these will be releasing should have had a chance to scoop up the full set and then send them all over to me so I can tell you how great they are.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know the release order on them yet?
Yeah. So we're starting with the port. We've had some disappointment around retiring the old port because it was a house favorite for a lot of people.
Okay.
So we're bringing that back first, just to keep the people happy, and we're going from port to sherry, and then the icing on the cake will be the cab sauv, 100% rye.
Okay, that's a good order too, because like, is this all going to be in the month of July? Or are you talking like July, August, September? Because like going into fall is typically when I start drinking a lot more cab.
Yeah, exactly. July, August, September. So it'll be a tiered release, which again will be a first for us, but we're going to give it a whirl.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's exciting stuff. There was another press release I saw about your cocktail cherries, right? Shit, I hope that was yours. I'm pretty sure it was yours.
Thanks for bringing that up. That was a pretty big deal for us. You know, we're from a smaller town up in northern Michigan. My father is a third generation cherry farmer. That was my first job for, I don't know, between the ages of 9 and 14, forced manual labor at a young age. So working cherries. And we birthed this cocktail cherry project back in 2017. We quickly became a leading brand on Amazon, which is kind of a weird thing, but worked.
Yeah.
And just a couple months ago, got picked up by Walmart nationally.
Oh, wow.
Damn, that's a lot of production to keep up with.
It's a lot of production and it's a lot of pressure.
I would believe that.
We've been joking around in-house that we are quickly becoming the Traverse City Cherry Company because the emphasis on you know, when you go
between the whiskey and that
Cherry of the North.
Yes.
When you go from producing a ton of whiskey and then pushing pause for, you know, a week or two at a time to make cocktail cherries, it's a weird transition.
God, I bet.
Very different products.
Yeah,
really crossing over the food and drink aspect of it, huh?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's such a complementary product because, you know, cherry can survive in grocery where a lot of times spirits can't. So it's and there's such a, you know, a nice harmony between cocktail cherries and whiskey.
I love it. Now I'm really curious, since we're on the topic and you've clearly been making quite a few of them lately. What is give us like the 10,000 foot view before we close that here for the night. What goes into taking a cherry off the tree and ending up in a jar on Walmart's shelf? Like, what does that process look like? Is it a day long process? Is it a week long process? Like, give us the big steps here. Cause I'm actually curious. Like, I have so many cocktail cherries and I actually have no idea how they get that way. Like I know you don't just like pick them off the tree and put them in the jar. Like something's going on there.
Yeah. So there's a divergence in the production process between, you say you have many cocktail cherries. A lot of the cocktail cherries on the shelf are made in a not so glamorous way. We don't need to go into it, but it's it's kind of sucking the soul out of the cherry and then reinfusing it with color and flavor.
Okay.
So not a soul. They take the heart and soul out, and they don't put any soul back in.
Right. That's when you find the $3 jar of cherries on the shelf at the grocery store. That's it.
The radioactive ones. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are both glowing, by the way. Have you been eating cherries?
Yes, a lot.
It's all natural, baby. All natural.
That's right.
And then the other route is taking, they're called IQF cherries. So they come off the tree and they go into a freezer where they're preserved. And then there's a process of taking these frozen cherries and then infusing them with like a simple syrup almost that has kind of increases the bricks content so that they're shelf stable, so that when you crack open the jar, you don't have to use it in a week. We'll bring the bricks up, the sugar content, so that they become a little bit more shelf stable. And we put the cherries that are in the simple syrup into a kettle, heat the kettle up to temp, which is about 185. This is where it gets a little crafty, and no judgment, please. But we take each individual jar of fruit, put it on to a scale, scoop fruit out of the hot kettle into the jar.
Dude, get out of here. No, you don't.
Yes. Adding cherries by weight.
I understand the pressure now. It all makes sense.
Taking the jar of cherries, putting it under a 10-gallon vat, like a stainless steel vat of boiling syrup. Top filling with boiling syrup. Putting the lid on the jar, flipping the jar upside down. That's your kill step. That's your pasteurization. Handing the jar off to a box, building the box, handing each finished jar off to the label applicator. Gets a label, goes back into another box, tape it, put it on their pallet, ship it.
Dude, you are a glutton for punishment. How in the hell are you going to make that many cherries for Walmart?
I mean, it's only Walmart, right?
Only.
Right. It's only an MOQ through the moon. It's no big deal. You'll get it figured out.
Yeah, we're working to automate that a little bit because it's
God damn, I can't blame you. But actually, I mean, that's really cool. Like, I quite honestly did not expect to hear anything nearly as manual as that. Like, that is quite literally, I expected all sorts of mechanical steps and additives and stuff like that. I think that's pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
Especially
like the gnarly ones on the shelf that like you could drop it on the floor, it's gonna bounce a foot, and there's something wrong with those. Jay and I both tried the Traverse City cherries last year when you guys did the Cherry Fest deal, and I thought they were great.
Yeah, I really liked. They had they were sweet, but they had a nice tang. They had some great acidity to them. You
really could tell it was actual
the right kind of
too.
cocktails. Yeah, definitely the fruit component.
Yep.
Cool. Glad you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, it was good stuff. But
are you guys going to do a Cherry Fest thing again this year?
Yeah.
We just made that decision. So last year, of course, it was a reaction to the pandemic.
Sure.
Why we hosted the Cherry Whiskey Fest up in Traverse City. We always host the National Cherry Festival, so the celebration of our local agriculture, and they canceled it in 2020. So we hosted our own, and we had it was very stressful. I will say it was very, very stressful, but we had a lot of fun with it. And the plan now is to bring it back this year.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, we're very excited. We're doing the second rendition of the Barrel Proof cherry.
Very cool. Be excited to see that come through. Jay and I both really liked that one too.
Yeah, John and Jay, we have a bottle reserved with your name on it.
Oh,
outstanding. Those are my favorite bottles.
That's lovely. Okay, cool. That's a surprise. That's fun. That's always my favorite part of the summer is cherry festivals. So that's really cool. I'm glad you guys saw the value in bringing it back or continuing it.
Who are we without our traditions, right?
Very true.
You got it, man.
Yep.
Cool. Well, Chris, this has been an awesome evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll go ahead and wind down. So if folks are looking for either your new releases, they want to get their paws on some cherries, they want some of your standard offerings, where can they learn more about you, and what states are your big markets right now?
Yeah, our biggest states, our biggest regions are on the coast. So all the way from Washington, California, Arizona, Texas, Florida, up to New York. And then what we like to call the Midwest coast. So we have a lot of density in Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and also out in Colorado. They've been killing it lately in Colorado. So
Good
yeah.
job, Colorado.
Good job, Colorado.
That's awesome. Okay, very cool. And so you guys are on social media. Do you guys sell online at all? I forget.
We don't sell online yet. We're
Okay.
working through partnerships to make that happen. But yeah, for all this release information, our Instagram is honestly, I guess Instagram and Facebook are both the best resource. Yeah, just for the active knowledge transfer.
Okay, beautiful. So if you're looking for information on any of these, go track them down on Instagram or Facebook. Very cool. Well, Chris, absolute pleasure. So great to have you once again. We look forward to the Barrel Proof Cherry and to trying these new finishes. It's really cool. We like what you guys are doing. And for everyone who's watching at home, actually, I have a bunch of samples that Chris sent me because we're going to pick a rye barrel for our bourbon too. So I forgot to mention that in the beginning. We'll be chatting more Traverse City in the upcoming weeks. But until then, if you're looking for more from John, you can find him at the Bourbon Finder. He's on Instagram. You're not on the Facebook. You're on the internet. His website and Instagram are the Bourbon Finder. He's comparing bourbon, writing great articles. Check out his write-up of Seagrass. We'll be talking about that again soon. And for more information on what I do, I am Jay from Whiskey Raters. You can find us at whiskeyraters.com, doing all sorts of rating, reviewing. We are the Rotten Tomatoes of whiskey. And I think that's really about it. So thanks again, Chris. It's been awesome. Great to drink virtually with you. And I look forward to seeing you in Michigan sometime.
Yeah. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate the invitation.
Likewise. Cheers.
All right. Cheers.